So we've heard that emotion is energy in motion, which is true. It is. However, we oftentimes stop there without realizing what kind of energy it is. It's actually mental energy. So emotion is part of the mental body. When we break down the human system in a way where we look at things as layers of being, we are able to identify where these different aspects of self come into play together, and then where they're housed in the layers of being. Different people describe the layers of being in different ways. I prefer to use koshas, which break it into 5 different layers of being. There's the physical body, which is made up of the food body, what we eat. It's our DNA, our cells, tissue, nerves, organs. And it's made of the matter of the universe. And what we're physically made of is what we digest, the food we digest, right? If we eat a bunch of food and we're not absorbing it and digesting it, then it doesn't get retained in our physical body. So it's really, you are what you digest when it comes to your physical body. Then we're moving, if you visualize it, sometimes it's pictured like those little Russian dolls where it's a body inside of a body, inside of a body, inside of a body. And that's a good way of thinking about it. As we describe and understand them, people try to get a depiction of which direction they're moving as they move through the bodies. And you can think about that, as you want, but don't get too caught up in that, because all of these bodies work harmoniously together as one moving being. The next body is the energy or astral body. So this is what people sometimes call pseudoscience-y type of stuff, the energetic biofield. However, with science and technology, what we're capable of now, the human system is bioelectrical, and anybody can prove that by just looking at all of the science, all of the medical research, right? Like, we know our body is biological, and we also know that there's a lot of electrical things going on, right? The brainwave activity, so forth. Like, we don't need to get into it, but it is a bioelectrical system, the human system. So we're getting into the energy body, which talks about and refers back to the electrical part of the human body in medical Western science. So this is made up of the nadis, which there's 72,000 nadis in the human system. And we work with 3 main ones. Then we have the energy centers, and then the energy that actually flows through the energy channels. So then we're starting to talk about the energetic system, prana, and there's chi in, other culture, but that's the life force energy is part of this energy body. That's what we work with when we're doing purification. We're actually purifying the energy body once we get our physical body into a place of health where we're capable of doing energy work. So then you're actually purifying the energetic system. And the energetic system is responsible for a whole bunch of things. We don't really need to get into it because the book, everything has it all listed out for you. So I don't really think that we need to break it down in conversation. So, I mean, if there's any questions, of course, they can be answered, but it's all there for you. the mental body or mental emotional body, that is the mind, which has a whole, the physical body we can evaluate through questions and come up with an understanding of what your current state of imbalance would be and what your ideal balance is. And that's talking about doshas, which we'll talk about later. But understanding that we can evaluate the physical body is important because we can also evaluate the mental body, which is really important because mind over matter. When we're self-evaluating, we always want to address manas gunas, or the mental state of being, first and foremost, because it can help rebalance the physical body. Anyways, so the mental emotional body is made up of the mind, the subconscious, which includes, and the chitta, which includes thought, emotions, feelings, your likes, your dislikes, and then the organs of knowledge. So the organs that are responsible for sensory input, intake. So your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. That's all part of the mental emotional body. And then we have the wisdom body, which is the intellect and ego. So this is where we start to move away from regular psychological viewpoint of the mind, and we start breaking it down into more yogic perspective, where we're breaking down the mind. So the mental emotional body and what we just talked about is one aspect of mind, but now we're breaking down mind again. So this is another part of mind, which is your intellect, what allows you to process and analyze information for your ego to be able to discern and make decisions. So it's, your ego is separate, and it's the self-assertion. It's the feeling of I, right? Ego. So when we're breaking it down this way, it's helpful because during mental training, we need to distinguish the difference between ego oftentimes, because ego oftentimes runs blindly if intellect and if mind is out of balance, right? If all of those pieces of mind are not in harmony, we find too many waves in the mind, wandering mind, cluttered mind, fast-paced mind, no movement in mind, it becomes imbalanced. So being able to break down mind into compartments for us to be able to observe allows us to become much more defined in our mental training, and we can create discipline in areas where discipline is needed and relax other places that need relaxation. It's very helpful. The last body, or kosha, layer of being, is the bliss body. The bliss body is what we end up getting to through mental training and meditation. It is true self. It's just beingness and just total balance. And that is truth. That becomes truth. That is true self, and that's truth of life. So that is like the final stage we work with, the deepest stage, but also the ever-present true self. If you don't understand what I'm talking about now, you will in time. So those are the koshas and layers of being. So as we come full circle, we started initially talking about how energy or emotion is energy in motion, right? So emotion, how we are feeling, is just energy in motion. But where is the energy in motion? That was the whole point of understanding koshas, the layers of being, how we can break up mind, and how we can understand that how we feel our emotion is actually in our head. It's part of our mental body. Making that full connection allows for us to really take control of our emotions, to realize that we can create as much space with our emotions for ourselves to process the emotions, to come up with how we want to respond. We can respond to any given situation with unlimited potential. We can choose so many different ways to handle things and how to respond to other people, to situations, to whatever. And realizing our true power, that our emotion is all mental and that we are capable of handling it from an unlimited resource rather than reactionary, is very life-changing for people who need to understand that this is the reality, right? We don't have to react. We do not have to respond right away. We can take the time we need to process and respond consciously. Okay, until next time.